And I can go into the pantry and riddle about the pudding. A proper lunch needs a proper pudding, and I have in mind my chocolate pear pudding, which sounds like, why go to this trouble? But I promise you, it is no trouble. It's fantastically easy and mercifully quick. I love the fact that with no notice, I've always got the wherewithal to make something as comforting as my chocolate pear pudding. I start off with a couple of cans of pears. I use the ones in juice, not syrup. Just drain them and lay them however you want on the bottom of a square pie dish, about 23 centimetres square, I think. Doesn't really matter how you put them in the dish. I tend always to put them with the hump sides uppermost. Do as you please. That's the pears done. Now on to the chocolate sponge they're going to be draped with. Simple enough. I start off with 125 grams of plain flour. And I'd say the same amount of sugar, just caster sugar for preference. And then 25 grams, quite a lot, of good cocoa. And it's this that lends the sponge its deep chocolatey intensity. A teaspoon of baking powder, just a quarter teaspoon of bicarb. I want 150 grams of soft unsalted butter, just all in one go, and that's the beauty of this method. And then simply 2 teaspoons of good vanilla extract and 2 eggs. So not only can you have everything to hand, but it's not even hard work once you start making it. The only thing horrible about this is the noise. I can take it. That's it. It's a rather thicker batter than I often make for cakes. I mean, normally I might thin it with some milk, but the reason is I think some of these pears will leach out a little bit of liquid, delicious as well. So I want the cake mix to be thicker to start off with. And don't worry, as you spatula the chocolate sponge mixture on top of the pears, if some bits of pears peek out. I mean, what could be wrong with that? I love the mixture of chocolate and pears. My granny always gave me as a treat tinned pears with chocolate sauce. And I have to say, I don't understand the snobbishness about tinned pears. Fresh pears are either too hard or too woolly, plus you have to peel them. This is the answer. And all is done, except that this now needs to go in the bottom shelf of the 220 oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Our pudding is made. How easy is that?
Chocolate.